Shakespeare's Histories, The Queen's Storm, Episode 9. England has collapsed into chaos during the War of the Roses as the throne flips back and forth between Edward IV and Henry VI. Warwick, once responsible for Edward's success due to her battlefield prowess, now leads the troop for Henry. Edward's brother Clarence has likewise defected to the Lancastrian side. To solidify these new allegiances, Clarence has married Warwick's elder daughter and Henry's son has married the younger. Queen Margaret remains in France, waiting for a more secure time to sail back to England with the prince. Edward IV, refreshed with foreign soldiers, returns to his family's lands in the north of England.
Now, Brother Richard, Lady Hastings, and the rest! Yet thus far fortune maketh us amends, and says that once more I shall interchange my waned state for Henry's regal crown.
York! 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 York!
What then remains, we being thus arrived from Ravenspur Haven before the gates of York, but that we enter as into our dukedom?
Yeah!
Gates made fast? Brother, I like not this.
By fair or foul means we must enter in, for hither will our friends repair to us.
My liege, I'll knock once more to summon them.
My lords, we were forewarned of your coming, and shut the gates for safety of ourselves, for now we owe allegiance unto Henry.
But, Master Mayor, if Henry be your king, yet Edward, at the least, is Duke of York.
Oh, true, my good lord, I know you for no less.
Why, and I challenge nothing but my dukedom, as being well content with that alone.
Why, Master Mayor, why stand you in a doubt? Open the gates, we are King Henry's friends.
I say you so? The gates shall then be open.
A wise stout captain, and soon persuaded.
The good old man would fain that all were well, so 'twere not long if him. But being entered, I doubt not I, but we shall soon persuade both he and all his brethren unto reason.
Now for this night, let's harbor here in York, and when the morning sun shall raise his car above the border of this horizon, we'll forward towards Warwick and her mates. For well I know that Henry is no soldier. Forward, Clarence. How evil it beseems thee to flatter Henry and forsake thy brother. Yet, as we may, we'll meet both thee and Warwick. Come on, brave soldiers. Doubt not of the day, and that once gotten, doubt not of large pay!
In London, the supporters of Henry VI, Warwick, Clarence, Oxford, and Somerset hasten to answer the newest threat from the House of York.
What counsel, lords? Edward from Belgia, with hasty Germans and blunt Hollanders, hath passed in safety through the narrow seas, and with his troops doth march amain to London, and many giddy people flock to him.
Let's levy troops and beat him back again.
A little fire is quickly trodden out, which, being suffered, rivers cannot quench.
In Warwickshire I have true-hearted friends, not mutinous in peace, yet bold in war. Those will I muster up. And thou, son Clarence, shalt stir up in Suffolk, Norfolk, and in Kent. And thou, brave Oxford, wondrous well beloved, in Oxfordshire shalt muster up thy friends. My sovereign, with the loving citizens, shall rest in London till we come to him. Fair lords, take leave, and stand not to reply. Farewell, my sovereign.
Farewell, my Hector, and my Troy's true hope.
Farewell, sweet lords. Let's meet at Coventry.
Farewell.
Here at the palace will I rest a while. Tell me truly, youth, what thinkest thou? Methinks the power that Edward hath in field should not be able to encounter mine.
The doubt is that he will seduce the rest.
That's not my fear. My meed hath got me fame. I have not stopped mine ears to their demands, nor posted off their suits with slow delays. My pity hath been balm to heal their wounds. My mildness hath allayed their swelling griefs. My mercy dried their water-flowing tears. I have not been desirous of their wealth, nor much oppressed them with great subsidies, nor forward of revenge, though they much erred. Then why should they love Edward more than me?
Hark, my lord. What shouts are these?
Seize on the shame-faced Henry, bear him hence, and once again proclaim us King of England. You are the fount that makes small brooks to flow. Now stops thy spring. My sea shall suck them dry and swell so much the higher by their ebb. Hence with him to the tower. Let him not speak. And lords, towards Coventry bend we our course, where peremptory Warwick now remains. The sun shines hot, and if we use delay, cold biting winter mars our hoped-for hay.
Away betimes before her forces join, and take the great-grown traitor unawares. Brave warriors, march amain towards Coventry.
Believing King Henry is still safe in London, Warwick calls up more soldiers from her lands in the middle of the country. She mobilizes her newly enlarged army at Coventry, awaiting the arrival of Oxford, Somerset, and Clarence. She sends Queen Margaret urgent messages to return to England with more French troops.
Where is the post that came from valiant Oxford? How far hence is thy lady, mine honest fellow?
By this at Dunsmore, marching hitherward.
Where is the post that came from Clarence?
At Southam I did leave him with his forces, and do expect him here some 2 hours hence.
Then Clarence is at hand. I hear his drum.
It is not his, my lady.
Oh, unbid spite! Is sportful Edward come? Where slept our scouts? Or how are they seduced that we could hear no news of his repair?
Now, Warwick, wilt thou ope the city gates? Speak gentle words, and humbly bend thy knee. Call Edward king, and at his hands beg mercy, and he shall pardon thee these outrages.
Nay, rather wilt thou draw thy forces hence. Confess who set thee up and plucked thee down. Call Warwick patron, and be penitent, and thou shalt still remain the Duke of York.
I thought at least she would have said the king!
'Twas I that gave the kingdom to thy brother.
Why then, 'tis mine, if but by Warwick's gift.
Thou art no Atlas for so great a weight. And, weakling, Warwick takes her gift again, and Henry is my king. Warwick is subject.
But Warwick's king is Edward's prisoner. And, gallant Warwick, do but answer this. What is the body when the head is off?
Come, Warwick, take the time. Kneel down. Kneel down!
I had rather chop this hand off at a blow, and with the other fling it at thy face, than bear so low a sail to strike to thee.
Sail how thou canst. Have wind and tide thy friend. This hand, fast wound about thy scarlet hair, shall, whiles thy head is warm and new cut off, write in the dust this sentence with thy blood. Wind-changing Warwick now can change no more.
Cheerful colors, see where Oxford comes!
Oxford! Oxford for Lancaster!
Oh, welcome, Oxford, for we want thy help.
Somerset! Somerset for Lancaster!
Two of thy name, both titled Somerset, have sold their lives unto the house of York, and thou shalt be the third, if this sword hold.
Lo, where George of Clarence sweeps along, of force enough to bid his brother battle. Come, Clarence, come! Thou wilt if Warwick call.
Mother of Warwick, know you what this means? Look here, I throw my infamy at thee. I will not ruinate my father's house, who gave his blood to lime the stones together and set up Lancaster. Why thinkst thou, Warwick, that Clarence is so harsh, so blunt, unnatural, to bend the fatal instruments of war against his brother and his lawful king? I am so sorry for my trespass made, that to deserve well at my brother's hands, I here proclaim myself thy mortal foe. And so, proud-hearted Warwick, I defy thee, and to my brother turn my blushing cheeks. Pardon me, Edward, I will make amends. And Richard, do not frown upon my faults, for I will henceforth be no more unconstant.
Now, welcome more, and 10 times more beloved than if thou never hadst deserved our hate.
Welcome, good Clarence. This is Brother Light.
Oh, passing traitor, perjured and unjust.
What, Warwick? Wilt thou leave the town and fight? Or shall we beat the stones about thine ears?
Alas, I am not cooped here for defense. I will away towards Barnet presently, and bid thee battle, Edward, if thou darest.
Yes, Warwick. Edward dares and leads the way. Lords, to the field! St. George and victory!
The two armies confront each other at Barnet, just north of London, with each side aiming for victory and possession of Henry VI. Edward IV and Warwick, who once fought side by side, now clash in hand-to-hand combat. As they fight in the disorienting early morning fog, Edward gets the upper hand and severely wounds Warwick.
So, lie thou there. Die thou, and die our fear. For Warwick was a bug that feared us all.
Who is nigh? Come to me, friend or foe, and tell me who is Victor, York or Warwick. Why ask I that? My mangled body shows my blood, my want of strength, my sick heart shows that I must yield my body to the earth, and by my fall the conquest to my foe. These eyes that now are dimmed with death's black veil have been as piercing as the midday sun to search the secret treasons of the world. The wrinkles in my brows, now filled with blood, were likened oft to kingly sepulchres. For who lived king but I could dig his grave? And who durst smile when Warwick bent her brow? Lo, now my glory smeared in dust and blood. My parks, my walks, my manners that I had, even now forsake me. And of all my lands is nothing left me but my body's length. Why, what is a pomp, rule, reign, but earth and dust? And live we how we can, yet die we must.
Ah, Warwick, wert thou as we are, we might recover all our loss again. The Queen from France hath brought a puissant power. Even now we've heard the news. Ah, couldst thou fly?
Fly, lords, and save yourselves. For Warwick bids you all farewell to meet in heaven.
Come, noble Somerset, let's take our horse and cause retreat be sounded through the camp, that all our friends that yet remain alive may be warned and save themselves by flight. That done, with them we'll post unto the Queen, and once more try our fortune in the field.
Thus far, our fortune keeps an upward course, and we are graced with wreaths of victory. But in the midst of this bright shining day, I spy a grim, suspicious, threatening cloud. I mean, my lords, those powers that the Queen hath raised in Gallia have arrived our coast.
A little gale will soon disperse that cloud and blow it to the source from whence it came.
The Queen is valued 30,000 strong, and Somerset with Oxford fled to her. If she have time to breathe, be well assured her faction will be full as strong as ours.
We are advertised by our loving friends that they do hold their course toward Tewkesbury. We, having now the best at Barnet Field, will thither straight. Strike up the drum, cry courage, and away!
Queen Margaret and Prince Edward return from France with more funds and troops, but are too late to help the Lancastrian cause at Barnet. They make for Wales to further increase their numbers, but the York army blocks their path.
Great lords! The wise ne'er sit and wail their loss, but cheerly seek how to redress their harms. What though the mast be now blown overboard, the cable broke, the holding anchor lost, and half our sailors swallowed in the flood? Yet lives our pilot still. Is't meet that he should leave the helm, and like a fearful lad, with tearful eyes add water to the sea, whilst in his moan the ship splits on the rock, which industry and courage might have saved. Ah, what a shame. Ah, what a fault were this. Say Warwick was our anchor. What of that? Northumberland our topmost. What of him? Our slaughtered friends, the tackles, what of these? Why is not Oxford here another anchor? And Somerset another goodly mast? The friends of France are shrouds and tacklings. And though unskillful, why not Ned and I, for once allowed the skillful pilot's charge? We will not from the helm to sit and weep, but keep our course though the rough winds say no, from shells and rocks that threaten us with wrath. And what is Edward but a ruthless sea? What Clarence but a quicksand of deceit? And Richard but a ragged fatal rock? All these the enemies to our poor bark. This speak I, lords, to let you understand, in case some one of you would fly from us. That there's no hope for mercy with the brothers, more than with ruthless waves, with sands and rocks. Why, courage, then! Courage! What cannot be avoided, 'twere childish weakness to lament or fear!
Methinks a woman of this valiant spirit should, if a coward heard her speak these words, infuse his breast with magnanimity, and make him naked, foil a man at arms. I speak not this as doubting any here, for did I but suspect a fearful man, he should have leave to go away betimes, lest in our need he might infect another, and make him of like spirit to himself. If any such be here, as God forbid, let him depart before we need his help.
O brave young prince, thy famous grandfather doth live again in thee. Long mayest thou live to bear his image and renew his glories.
And they that will not fight for such a hope go home to bed, and, like the owl by day, if they arise, be mocked and wondered at.
Thanks, gentle Somerset. Sweet Oxford, thanks.
And take his thanks that yet have nothing else.
Prepare you, lords, for Edward is at hand, ready to fight. Therefore be resolute.
Here pitch our battle. Hence we will not budge.
My friends, no more but this. Henry, your sovereign, is prisoner to the foe, his state usurped, his realm a slaughterhouse, his subjects slain, his statutes cancelled, and his treasure spent, and yonder is the wolf that makes this spoil. You fight in justice. That in God's name, lords, be valiant and give signal to the fight!
The two armies, exhausted from their hasty marches across the country, meet at Tewkesbury. The day is hot and the battlefield meadow turns red with blood. The Lancastrian generals are captured and Margaret's army is completely destroyed.
Now here a period of tumultuous broils. Away with Oxford to Hames Castle, straight. For Somerset, off with her guilty head. Go bear them hence. I will not hear them speak.
For my part, I'll not trouble thee with words.
Nor I, but stoop with patience to my fortune.
Is proclamation made that who finds Edward shall have a high reward, and he his life?
It is, and lo, where youthful Edward comes.
Bring forth the gallant. Let us hear him speak. Edward, what satisfaction canst thou make for bearing arms, for stirring up my subjects, and all the trouble thou hast turned me to?
Speak like a subject, proud ambitious York. Suppose that I am now my father's mouth. Resign thy chair, and where I stand, kneel thou, whilst I propose the selfsame words to thee, which, traitor, thou wouldst have me answer to.
Ah, that thy father had been so resolved.
By heaven, brat, I'll plague you for those words.
Aye, thou was born to be a plague to all.
For God's sake, take away this captive scold.
Nay, take away this scolding crookback rather.
Peace, willful boy, or I will charm your tongue.
Untutored lad, thou art too malapert.
Lascivious Edward, and thou perjured George, and thou misshapen stick. I tell you are, I am your better, traitors as you are, and now usurps my father's right and mine.
Take that! The likeness of this railer here!
Sprawlst thou? Take that to end thy agony.
There's for twitting me with perjury.
Kill me too!
Marry and shall!
Richard, hold! For we have done too much.
Why should she live to fill the world with words?
What? Doth she swoon? Use means for her recovery!
Clarence, excuse me to the king, my brother. I'll hence to London on a serious matter.
What? What?
The tower. The tower!
Oh, Ned. Sweet Ned. Speak to thy mother, boy. Canst thou not speak? Oh, traitors. Murderers. They that stabbed Caesar shed no blood at all, did not offend, nor were not worthy blame, if this foul deed were by to equal it. He was a man, this in respect a child. And men ne'er spend their fury on a child. What's worse than murder that I may name it? No. My heart will burst in if I speak, and I will speak that so my heart may burst. Butchers and villains! Bloody cannibals! How sweet a plant have you untimely cropped. You have no children, butchers. If you had, the thought of them would have stirred up remorse. But if you ever chance to have a child, look in his youth to have him so cut off, as death's men you have rid this sweet young prince.
Away with her. Go, bear her hence, perforce.
Nay, never bear me hence. Dispatch me here. Here sheathe thy sword. I'll pardon thee my death. What wilt thou not? Then, Clarence, do it thou.
By heaven, I will not do thee so much ease.
What, Clarence, do? Sweet Clarence, do thou do it. What wilt thou not? Where is that devil's butcher, Richard? Hard-favored Richard, Richard, where art thou?
Away, I say! I charge you, bear her hence.
So come to you and yours as to this prince.
Where's Richard gone?
To London, all in post, and, as I guess, to make a bloody supper in the tower.
He's sudden if a thing comes in his head. Now, march we hence. Discharge the common sort with pay and thanks, and let's away to London, and see our gentle queen, how well she fares. By this, I hope she hath a son for me.
I wish but what I have it will. I wonder not to seek for more. I like the plain, I climb no hill. In greatest storms I sit on shore. I fear no foe. I force no friend. I loathe no life. I dread no end.
Good day, my lord. What, at your book so hard?
Aye, my good lord. My lord, I should say, rather. 'Tis sin to flatter. Good was little better. Good Gloucester and good Devil were alike, and both preposterous. Therefore, not good lord. But wherefore dost thou come? Is't for my life?
Think'st thou I am an executioner?
A persecutor, I am sure thou art. If murdering innocents be executing, why then thou art an executioner.
Thy son I killed for his presumption.
Hadst thou been killed when first thou didst presume, thou hadst not lived to kill a son of mine. And thus I prophesy. that many 1,000 men for their sons, wives for their husbands, orphans for their parents' timeless death, shall rue the hour that ever thou wast born. The owl shrieked at thy birth, an evil sign. Dogs howled, and hideous tempests shook down trees. The raven rooked her on the chimney's top, and chattering pies in dismal discord sung. Thy mother felt more than a mother's pain, and yet brought forth less than a mother's hope. To wit, an indigested and deformed lump. Teeth hadst thou in thy head when thou wast born, to signify thou camest to bite the world. And if the rest be true, which I have heard, thou camest...
I'll hear no more. Die, prophet, in thy speech. For this amongst the rest was I ordained.
Aye, and for much more slaughter after this. O God, forgive my sins, and pardon thee.
What? Will the aspiring blood of Lancaster sink in the ground? I thought it would have mounted. See how my sword weeps for the poor king's death. Oh, may such purple tears be always shed from those that wish the downfall of our house. Down! Down to hell! And say I sent thee thither, I that have neither pity, love, nor fear. Indeed, 'tis true that Henry told me of. For I have often heard my mother say, I came into the world with my legs forward. Had I not reason, think you, to make haste and seek their ruin that usurped our right? The midwife wondered, and the women cried, Oh, Jesus, bless us! He is born with teeth! So I was, which plainly signified that I should snarl and bite and play the dog then. Since the heavens have shaped my body so, let hell make crooked my mind to answer it. I have no brother. I am like no brother. And this word, love, which graybeards call divine, be resident in men like one another, and not in me. I am myself, alone. Clarence, beware, thou keep'st me from the light. But I will sort a pitchy day for thee, for I will buzz abroad such prophecies that Edward shall be fearful of his life, and then to purge his fear, I'll be thy death. King Henry and the prince his son are gone. Clarence, thy turn is next, and then the rest, counting myself but bad, till I be best.
With the murder of both Henry VI and his son, Edward IV is now the uncontested King of England. Bolstered by the birth of his own son and the support of his brothers, Edward's lineage and control over the crown seem secure. However, not all the Lancastrian supporters are dead. The Countess Oxford has fled to France, where the young Earl of Richmond resides. Queen Margaret, too, remains alive.
Once more we sit in England's royal throne, repurchased with the blood of enemies. 3 titled Somerset, 3-fold renowned for hardy and undoubted champions. 2 Cliffords, as the father and the child. And a Northumberland, a braver man, ne'er spurred his courser at the trumpet's sound. With them, the mighty bear, the Countess Warwick. Thus have we swept suspicion from our seat, and made our footstool of security. Come hither, Bess. Oh, and let me kiss my boy. Young Ned, for thee, thine uncles and myself have in our armors watched the winter's night, went all afoot in summer's scalding heat, that thou mightst repossess the crown in peace. And of our labors thou shalt reap the gain. Clarence and Gloucester, love my lovely queen, and kiss your princely nephew, brothers both.
The duty that I owe unto your majesty I seal upon the lips of this sweet babe.
Thanks, noble Clarence, worthy brother, thanks.
And that I love the tree from whence thou sprangst, witness the loving kiss I give the fruit.
Now am I seated as my soul delights, having my country's peace and brother's loves.
What will your grace have done with Margaret? Rainier, her father, to the King of France hath pawned the Sicils and Jerusalem, and hither have they sent it for her ransom.
So come to you and yours as to this prince.
Away with her, and waft her hence to France.
No nobis Domine. No nobis Domine.
And now what rests but that we spend the time with stately triumphs, mirthful comic shows, such as befits the pleasure of the court. Sound drums and trumpets. Farewell, Sauronoi. For here, I hope, begins our lasting joy. Sing with thy mouth, sing with thy heart, like faithful friends sing loath to depart. Everybody! Sing with thy mouth, sing with thy heart, like faithful friends sing loath to depart.
You've been listening to Shakespeare's Histories, Season 2, The Queen's Storm, presented by Brave Spirits Theatre.
Shakespeare's Histories is directed by Charlene V. Smith.
The recording producer and editor is Patrick Flynn.
With dramaturgy and additional directing by Marshall B. Garrett.
Dramaturgy and additional directing by Claire Kimball.
And dramaturgy by Liam Thomas Daly.
The acting company for Shakespeare's Histories is
Mikey Bannigan,
Zach Brewster-Geisz,
Jordan Brown,
Dean Carlson,
Jacqueline Chenault,
Gary Dubriel,
Brianna Goode,
Lisa Hill Corley,
Thomas Howley,
Caroline Johnson,
Brendan Edward Kennedy,
Annette Mooney,
Victoria Reinsel,
Duane Richards,
Jillian Riti,
Ian Blackwell Rogers,
Nicole Ruthmarie, Charlene V. Smith,
John Stange,
Molly E. Thomas,
and Joshua Williams.
The composer and music director is Jordan Friend.
the dialect coach is Jenna Burke,
the production manager for Shakespeare's Histories is Lisa Hill Corley,
the stage manager is Jen Katz.
The audio recordings of Shakespeare's Histories were made possible through funding from the Nora Roberts Foundation, the City of Alexandria, the Morgan Fund at the Seattle Foundation, the Virginia Commission for the Arts, and the National Endowment for the Arts.
Learn more about Brave Spirits Theater by visiting our website at www.bravespiritstheater.com.